We are back with Justin and Curtis Hartshorn talking about why they rebelled against their upbringing and what brought them back. Okay, Justin, you were in addiction for 6 years?
Yeah, roughly about that time, yeah.
So that didn't seem very hopeful. You tried to get clean many times, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously, even being in that lifestyle, it's not all roses and stuff. You're basically continuously fighting a high and a low as you go through different phases of drug abuse or alcohol abuse or anything like that. So I knew that there was an issue and was aware, but I figured if I could just get rid of, say, this part of that life, if I could get rid of, say, the cocaine addiction, then I would be okay to, continue on drinking and having a good time. But obviously it's a lot harder than it sounds to just say, oh, I'm going to start dismissing these drugs out of my life. So very difficult, never was able to. I think the longest that I was sober over the course of those 6 years was 2-3 days maybe.
So what got you out of the lifestyle?
So seeing a change in my brothers, which he'll get to in his story, but he kind of made a turnaround about 3 months prior. And ultimately for me, it was a depression that I could not overcome. It was something where it was like, I've had enough. I can't continue living like this. And ironically, it was actually over the fact that I wouldn't be able to buy my family Christmas presents. That's what I was thinking about while I was having this thought. But I was like, every dime that I ever made working random jobs and all of that went towards drugs and alcohol. And so I would not be able to buy anything for them for Christmas. So I remember being kind of like, this sucks. This isn't a life that I kind of want to live. So ended up calling him, knowing that he had gone through a transformation. And ironically, actually, the message that I sent him that day, my phone wasn't on a plan. It didn't actually work because I hadn't paid the bill, so it was shut down, but it managed to go through to him. So kind of another God moment there. But so it goes through to him, and then he meets me after I get home and just says, like, let's go see this guy, this pastor. And I'd heard his name, but I'd never really formally met him. And that was kind of the night that everything flip-flopped for me. So it was
wow.
radical.
And Curtis, your life changed too. So what caused your change?
Yeah. So I was starting to get pretty freaked out. There was a few times where I would just get so filled with rage that I would start even trying to fight friends and family. I was just getting really violent. But I started having these experiences. I thought I was getting very mentally ill. I would start having hearing stuff in my head. I started having just all these really strange experiences. Like one of them, I was actually taking a picture with this girl, a selfie. This was just a God intervening moment, but I was taking a picture with her, trying to smile. And then every time I looked at the photo, my face was all stretched out and hanging down in the actual photo. And I tried 6 times, and my face and hers was fine and mine was all stretched. And I felt like the Holy Spirit was saying, this is what you really look like. You think you're just partying, having a good time, but you're falling apart inside. And this is what you look like inside. And it just started scaring me. And I know it was the Holy Spirit started just showing me, you think you're kind of got this thing together, but you're actually way more messed up than you realize. So just out of sheer desperation, I remember one night I heard about this young adult church, and I just knew it was just the Holy Spirit, but I just knew, and I knew in my heart that I had to go, and that this would be my way out. So
I know that there's so many people watching who are brought up a certain way and probably have wandered pretty far off that path. Maybe they don't even know how to get back, or don't even think maybe they could ever get back. I met someone recently who said, do you ever think I could get that faith back I had as a little boy and that sense of God? What would you say to somebody like that? Let's start with you, Justin.
Well, you can. I think it's pretty simple in actuality, like that night that I say that everything changed for me, that there was really only one question that I answered when I went in and I had this conversation with this pastor, and he gave me a choice and said, he used the matrix, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill type thing, but he said, basically, will you give Jesus a chance to come and conquer your addiction? And all I said was yes. And then an elder showed up at the room and just said, I feel like I'm supposed to be here. And they came in and they anointed me in oil. And then that was the last day that I felt any cravings towards drugs or alcohol.
That's a miracle.
It was very miraculous. And I would say that my experience doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen for everybody. But for me, it was as simple as saying yes to Jesus. And I think that can pretty much go across the board. If you're truly allowing Jesus, to come and be a part of your situation, then it can be life altering.
What about you, Curtis? What would you say to that person?
I think for me, like, I think I had the kind of illusion that, like, if I was doing things my own way, then I'd be truly free and I would truly find everything that I was looking for. And I found out that doing things my own way actually ended up to completely destroy me. When I remember when I came back, I remember like the week after I came back to Jesus, it was like the first time I'd actually felt silence, like in my head, and just that sense of peace and love. And I spent a lot of my time in the death metal trying to always prove myself to people and impress other people and put on a show and like impress people with whatever I did. But when you finally find Jesus, when you finally give your life to him, it answers all the deepest longings of the human heart, where you're just like, all those cries for attention and all those cries that I had to fit in and feel loved and feel secure, I had once I gave my life back to him. So I'd say if you're struggling with faith and you're trying to figure things out your own way, just Jesus is the total answer, and he's the one that'll satisfy all of those things in your heart that you want satisfied. So
We make it so complicated,
Yeah.
and yet at another level it's so easy,
Yeah.
right? It's so simple. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. I think you've given a lot of people hope, and hopefully parents hope as well, because I know this whole time your parents were praying their guts out for you.
Absolutely.
So kids who rebel can come home and don't give up praying. I would say that to parents.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And if you are one of those people like these two who are saying, you know what, I am so far from where I started and I don't know how to get back, we would love to be part of your spiritual journey. We'd love to pray with you and help reintroduce you or introduce you for the first time to the God who can totally transform your life and bring that peace that they talked about. Give us a call, 1-866-273-4444. We'd love to pray with you.